I always notice when I read this that Ahimelech the priest was frightened when David came to the town of Nob, and apparently this was because David was alone. This suggests that King Saul often sent out men to kill people he saw as a threat of some sort. I suspect that David had been sent on such missions, but possibly not. That may be a misreading. As we read the rest of this passage, it becomes clear that Ahimelech was dedicated to at least appearing to be a loyal subject of King Saul, but it did him no good. We also see that Ahimelech's fear was justified. We then later see David's behavior contrasted with King Saul's. King Saul killed Ahimelech and most of his family because he, Saul, perceived Ahimelech as being disloyal for helping David, who at the time was viewed by almost everybody, would have thought David was still one of King Saul's favorites. He was King Saul's son-in-law and commander of his bodyguard. David, on the other hand, went to Keilah at significant risk to himself and his men in order to protect it from Philistine raiders. Then, when David realized that the men of Keilah would surrender him to King Saul, he left without causing any problems in Keilah. Later, when presented with an opportunity to kill King Saul, David refused to do so, or to allow his men to do so. Now, David at this point had been anointed to be king in Saul's place by Samuel, yet he was not willing to raise his hand against King Saul because Saul was God's anointed. This really is something to be closely paid attention to. I struggled to articulate the lesson we learned from this, but we get part of it in Saul's response to David when David showed him what he could have done, that he could have killed him. Saul tells David that he had repaid Saul with good, while Saul had repaid David with evil. This seems to me to tell us that David did something which the Apostle Paul told us to do in Romans 12, where he said, "Repay no one evil for evil. Do not be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good." So that was why David was made king, and why God called David a man after his heart, because David repaid evil with good.